Star Wars Day to all my favorite people out there. May the Force be with you. And today, as we talk about my ranking list for every single Star Wars film, I cannot wait to talk about this, so let's just get right into it. And let me tell you, you guys are probably going to be wondering, where's the animated movie in here? I didn't put it in here. If it was to be, it would be number 10. I've only seen it once. I didn't like it. Thought it was boring. Just get on with the list, though. And at number 9 is going to be Attack of the Clones. Yes, it's the second one in the prequel series. And for me, this film, there really is no attacking of the clones until like the last 20 minutes. Disappointing. There are a lot of good things about this film, but there's also a horrible mess of things. I mean, let's just get out the bad things. You know, the Romeo and Juliet story between Padme and Anakin does not work. The only scene that ever worked in there is when Anakin goes to kill the Tusken Raiders that killed his mom. That's really it. That's the only scene I ever liked in the film with Hayden Christensen. Obi-Wan's cool, Mace Windu's cool. When Obi-Wan, especially when Obi-Wan goes to that planet, finds the cloning factory, there's a lot of things that doesn't make sense in that whole scene. There's a lot of things that just plot holes that don't make sense in this whole film, but like I said, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to hate this film. I really think the coolest thing about this film, though, is when we see all the Jedi fighting at the end, because that's something that we've really been wanting to see in a live-action Star Wars film, but really, Attack of the Clones, for me, is the weakest Star Wars film in the franchise. Coming at number 8 now is also one of the weakest films in the Star Wars franchise, because I could either flip-flop Phantom Menace, which is my number 8, or Attack of the Clones. They could go back and forth, but for me, Phantom Menace had a lot more redeeming things to it. Yeah, it had Jar Jar Binks. Whatever. Throw the dude in a moat, never talk about him again. Yes, it had Danny Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker as a kid. Doesn't work. The pod racing scene. Cool. Didn't need to be there. But Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, I love Liam Neeson in here. I wish we would have gotten more Qui-Gon Jinn. And of course, Ian McGregor's first outing as Obi-Wan. He's great. Lightsaber Duel of Fate is one of the best lightsaber scenes we've ever had in a Star Wars film. The score for here is one of the best scores in any Star Wars film. And overall, The Phantom Menace has some enjoyable qualities to it, more than the Attack of the Clones, because the Attack of the Clones is really weighed down by the romance. For me, Phantom Menace doesn't have that romance aspect, but it still has really fun aspects to it that I guess you can watch this more as a guilty pleasure of some sorts. Even though sometimes it does drag at times, there still is some fun in The Phantom Menace. I'm not saying it's a great movie, but I'm saying there is some fun to it. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Rogue One. Yes, the film that came out last year, directed by Gareth Edwards, I think this is a pretty solid, good film. It's a fun adventure film in the Star Wars lore. It's different. It's the first spin-off movie. For the most part, this film does work. But I also think there are things that don't make the film work, which is the characters. Don't get me wrong. Jin's cool, Cassian's cool, Bodhi's cool, but they're just fine. I really only gravitated to K2SO or Chirrut because they're both badasses. That's really the only reason I gravitated towards them. And that's the thing about this film. I didn't care about any of the characters in this film. Not one bit. If they were to die, I didn't care. And that's something that the movie didn't build upon, because I didn't get any character development with each and any one of these characters, which is a big issue. I know there was a novel that came out that I read, and it had everyone, they gave more character development to each and every one of the characters, which made me care more, but I shouldn't have to read a book for me to care about Rogue One. So Rogue One for me always falls off on that end, because the characters are always very boring to me. I don't find them attentive. And I know some people will love this film, which I don't. I agree. You guys are right. I think you guys have some good aspects. Just for me, it never worked. But this movie has some of the best action sequences. The Darth Vader scene right at the end is beautifully filmed, and that's what a lot of this film is. It's beautiful. The planet they go to, everything they do in this film is beautiful from the max. I just think the characters put into the story weren't fleshed out enough for me to really give a crap about. I'll also say the film does start off very slow. I felt like the film had a lag pace in the beginning. The whole Saw Gerrera octopus scene was really weird. I don't know what's it with these new octopus things in Force Awakens and this, but that was a really weird scene. I didn't know what to think of that. And really no opening crawl was still jarring to me, so I hope the Han Solo spin-off movie does have an opening crawl. But, you know, Rogue One, still a fun Star Wars movie. It ties right into A New Hope, which I love. At number 6 is going to be Revenge of the Sith. Yes, the last prequel movie, and this is one of the best films in that prequel series. Not in the series, but one of the best in the prequel series. And, you know, it's not hard to say that, but Revenge of the Sith is actually very well done. Every single action scene in here works. Dooku, Palpatine, Mace Windu, all of them are badass. I mean, then you can go to Yoda, General Grievous, which is one of the most intriguing characters for me, at least. I love Grievous. I think he's a really cool character. I wanted more of him, but him and Obi-Wan standoffs, they're great. Anakin Skywalker finally going to the dark side is great to see in this film. And really, it's just, even though 1 and 2 in the prequel series never worked for me, I at least still bonded to these characters because I knew where they were going to go into the end. And seeing where they finally climactic end into the third film, most of the time works. And when I say most of the time, I mean it's because Padme's death does not. She dies with a broken heart. Whatever. But Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight scene is awesome. It's one of the best in the whole franchise. Also, this is the first Star Wars movie I got to see in theaters. Yeah, I'm only 20 years old. I did see this film. This is the first one I saw in the theaters, and I loved it. But as I've grown up, I see its problems, but I still have a soft spot for this film nostalgically, but I have a lot of nice memories with the film that I think work for the overall story, and I think this is easily the best prequel movie, and I enjoy it. I don't mind watching this film. Coming in at number 5 is going to be A New Hope. Yes, this is the original one. You guys are like, what? How is this at number 5? Let me tell you, I love A New Hope. Every film above this is like, it was so hard to place where I wanted them to be. But I did just rewatch every film. I've seen every film now. And for me, A New Hope, as much as I love it, it is very slow. It has a lot of world building to do. It has a lot of things to describe and tell you what's going on. Start with another Star Wars film, you're probably going to be lost with the lore of the Force, the Jedi, the Sith, what is this, what is that? And that's what A New Hope really does well. Builds upon the mythology, but also keeping it very much alive. And I like that in this film. I like seeing that in A New Hope. And for me, like I said, it has some really good action scenes in it, has a lot of tension to it, introduces us to some of the best characters in Star Wars lore ever. Darth Vader, Han Solo, Leia, Luke Skywalker. The first time that really we ever saw any of these characters. And I like A New Hope. I really do. I have a lot of fun memories with it, but really, that's why it's going to be at number 5. Coming at number 4 is going to be Return of the Jedi. Yes, this is the ending to the OG series, and I love Return of the Jedi. I know it's not the best made film in the whole Star Wars franchise, but I know for a lot of reasons it has so much fun to it. A lot of the action sequences in here are fantastic. It has literally, probably, I will say, the best ship battle in any film I've ever seen. That's still, today, it looks amazing. It still holds up very well. And yes, I like the Ewoks, so screw you if you don't like Wicket and his pals, because I think the Ewoks are cool. I think they work for the story and work for what George Lucas was telling. Yes, I get it. Maybe it was to sell toys, but I still think they work. I like them. They're cute. Luke Skywalker, the way the film opens is so great. Like I said, action sequences in here. That throne room scene with Darth Vader and Luke. Oh my god, it's amazing. It is so insane. Han Solo, Leia are great. I mean, come on, we get to see Leia in a slave outfit. Come on, pretty cool. Jabba the Hutt, it shows everything. It shows where all these characters grew and became, and I loved seeing it. Yeah, Boba Fett dies too early on, but you can't change it. And really just overall, it kind of feels a mess of a pacing at times with Return of the Jedi, but at the same time, I have so much fun with Return of the Jedi. But come on, Luke Skywalker he's a badass. He makes the whole film great. Coming at number 3 is going to be The Force Awakens. So, this was really hard for me to put. I was almost at it at number 2, but for me, the more I think about it, Force Awakens, a lot of it is nostalgia for me, because when I went and saw this film, I waited like 7 hours in line to get the best seat with my friends. It was such a great experience waiting in that line, talking to other Star Wars fans, talking to people, and just feeling the energy throughout the people. It is probably the best movie-going experience I've ever had. And that is because everyone in that theater was there for Star Wars. Not because they were there for someone else, because they like Star Wars. No, everyone in there loved Star Wars, and you could feel it. It is fantastic to get that feeling. Force Awakens really works for me on that level. And every time I've seen Force Awakens, it works more and more for me. I just watched it again yesterday, probably like the 10th time. And I loved Force Awakens for what it did. I love the characters in Force Awakens that it introduces. I love Kylo, Rey, Finn, Poe. And then, of course, in The Last Jedi, which we'll get to soon, it's cool how it just all started flooding them towards another direction. And it's cool to see the introductions they got in here, and I just loved seeing where their characters are in here from beginning to end. And I think Force Awakens is such a fantastic film, and it really just brings apart. And I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with the rehashing from A New Hope and stuff. For me, it works. I don't think totally on it being a total rehash. I know there are some elements to it and little Easter egg nods, but for me, overall, it works. And I love Rey's character. I love her character, and I cannot say that enough. Han Solo, Chewie showing back up are fantastic, and overall, Come on. Force Awakens was an awesome time at the movies. Coming in at number 2 is going to be The Last Jedi. Yes, the brand new Star Wars film. This was really hard for me to place here. I had to think about it a lot more because when I walked out of the theater, I was very conflicted. I felt disappointed, but at the same time, I wasn't. I was disappointed because every theory I had made up about the film didn't come true. And in here, it gave me something different. This is the most different, diverse Star Wars film we will ever have, I think. And that is all praise to Rian Johnson. And that is the best thing I think the franchise could have done. You guys look at the Rotten Tomatoes score. Right now, the audience score is like 63%. And the critic score is at like 94%. That is so strong. But it's such a big difference. But I think over time, people are going to see The Last Jedi and rewatch it. And rewatch it. And they're going to find themselves liking it or loving it more. Because that's how I am. I walked out, I was like, I liked it. But I feel conflicted. The more you sit on the film, the more you like it. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to recognize, especially when you go and see it again. I cannot wait to go see this film multiple times because really The Last Jedi works for me in a lot of ways. It furthers every character in a different dynamic that I never thought I would want them to go, but I love where they went. And it really just furthers the mythology of what these characters are that we got. There's so many great moments in this film. It has some of the best action sequences ever in a Star Wars film. It's the most beautiful Star Wars film. I will put that out there. But overall, The Last Jedi, I think with time, it might be my favorite Star Wars film. It's going to take time for me to really rewatch it multiple times, but I love The Last Jedi. And then coming, of course, at number 1, you guys know what it's going to be, The Empire Strikes Back. Like I said, Last Jedi might take over. I don't know yet. I gotta think on this film more. I gotta see it. But Empire I've watched so many times. Empire is an instant classic. It's the best made Star Wars film. It has the dark moments, the light moments, and it all totally works for that trilogy and the whole Star Wars franchise overall. It has some of the best action sequences, of course. Darth Vader, Luke. It has one of the best twists in any movie ever. Come on, when you were a kid and you saw that for the first time, your jaw, if you tell me your jaw did not drop, you are a liar, because my jaw dropped. I remember that scene happening in my mind, and I remember freaking the fuck out. Sorry for the cursing, but it's really the truth. I overall really love The Empire Strikes Back. It is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, and it's just such a great time. But like I said, maybe by the time Han Solo comes out, Last Jedi might be in this place. But we'll get to that, guys, when I update my ranking list. But overall, right now, I feel very definitive with this list. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I want you guys to make sure to comment down below and tell me what is your ranking list? I want to hear what your ranking list of all the Star Wars films is. That's what's important here, so make sure to comment down below and tell me. And if you're new, guys, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. I did tons of reviews, rankings, trailer reviews, reactions, whatever, and tons of reviews are going to be coming out in the next week, guys. Yes, Star Wars has passed. Sadly, we're going to have to wait 2 more years for Episode 9, but we do have Han Solo coming up. I'm hoping for good things with that film. But guys, really, keep in mind, I have tons of reviews coming out next week. I have The Post, I, Tonya, Bright, All the Money in the World, Downsizing, and Pitch Perfect 3. 6 videos you guys are going to get next week. I don't know what days because I have to look at the embargo, but make sure to look out for all those reviews next week. But guys, until next time, I hope the Force is with you guys during the holiday season, and I hope you guys, thank you so much for being a part of this video, and thank you so much for talking Star Wars, because that is what makes this day work. And really, I love wearing my Star Wars shirt, my Christmas shirt. It works for the time. But guys, until next time, stay classy and have a great rest of your day.